Honorable Minister Srimati Jayanti Natarajan and other friends on the dais, distinguished participants, staff and scholars of MSSRF and friends and members of the media. First of all, I want to express my gratitude for all the good words spoken about me. I have often said, once C.V. Raman was asked the question, so much praise you are receiving, how does not your head get swollen? And he said, that's why I wear a big turban, so that I will... But in my case, I have adopted another technique, that whenever they talk about Swaminathan, I think they're talking about somebody else. So I also enjoy it, so it doesn't go to your head. Thank you very much for all the kind words said. As far as the foundation is concerned, as N. Ram, our very distinguished trustee, said, a foundation or any scientific institution is built only by scientists. Increasingly in our country, bricks are valued more than brains. I always said you can't build a beautiful building and have nothing inside it. And we are fortunate in this foundation to have, as Ajay Pareda said, over 300 scientists of various ages, most of them very young, who have got the combination of real scientific competence and their emphasis on scientific excellence combined with social commitment, social relevance. This is the kind of scientists which you need for an organization like this, and we have been very fortunate to have had a whole series of people who combine this commitment to social well-being, social justice, and always N. Ram, as a trustee, reminds us the amount of deprivation which is prevalent in this country. We must fight it. So I want to express my own gratitude to all the scholars and scientists led by Dr. Ajay Pareda for their dedication not only to science, not only to building this institution, but also taking science to the people to whom it is intended. And you had a good experience, you have got a good example of this from this function today. For example, Dr. Shenoy talked about the helpline. The amount of knowledge Shenoy and the inquiries have got, tremendous knowledge they have got. But how to take it out to the people, the fishermen going in small boats, artisanal fishermen, country boats, they all got very afraid after tsunami. They were very afraid to go because they said, the sea is our mother but has swallowed us, and so what do we do? But then when these kinds of applications came, the mobile telephoning, the wave heights at different distances, where the fish shoals are. I've heard, Dr. Shenoy, as a result of your work, some of the fisherwomen used to say, my husband used to go out for 12 hours in the sea, but he now comes back in 2 hours because he knows exactly where the fish are. Modern technology, this we call mobile telephony, and modern technology as a transformational technology. It has brought about transformation in the lives of very small fishermen who go to the fish and so on. Similarly, what Mrs. Mitra, Nupur Mitra, has done today is a very important step because what Qualcomm has provided the cell phone, mobile phone. Today, I think in our country, about 800 million mobile phones are there. It only shows if people value something, they will buy, and that's what it has done. It has completely transformed the way in which we communicate, we receive communication. And I am happy that today thanks to Indian Overseas Bank. Let me also tell you, madam, some 10 years ago, when we wanted to start the pulses villages, wanted to create villages because we are very short of pulses, it was IOB which came forward, both in Ramanathapuram and Pudukkottai. And the then chairman came also to Pudukkottai to launch. Today, the finance minister has made it a national program, Pulses Villages, which started in a small way in Pudukkottai and Ramanathapuram, has now become a national language. So many times, as you will, if you read the introduction to the annual report, you will see how small ideas, but they have to be good ideas, and you have to also show their work, not just hypothetical ideas, but something which is practical, which is implementable, which is affordable. And then they can spread. Government of India, the same as was mentioned about the women's program, Mahila Kisan Sashaktikiran Pariyojana, which started in a small way in Vidarbha, mainly to help the widows of those who have committed suicide, has now become a national program. So many of these banks can, brain bank, and the combination of this is important. Similarly, the farmers' schools, farm-to-farm schools, learning from each other. Kalaivani Rajendran has agreed to some of the good farmers. You should go to a farm to see how much work she is doing, not only to improve the productivity of paddy with very little water. She is one of the experts in what is called system of rice intensification, more crop per drop, and also on all that we say theoretically. But Kalaivani has actually done it in practice, not only done in practice in her own farm for her own benefit, but also has been able to share her knowledge with others. So these farm schools will be in outstanding farmers' fields who are willing to share their knowledge with other farmers. Because farmer-to-farmer learning, or what we call land-to-land, as contrast to lab-to-land, land-to-land has a very high credibility for the simple reason farmers believe the economics of the other farmer. I must say they don't believe too much the economics of scientists and agronomists and so on, but they believe the economics of other farmers, and therefore the farm schools, we hope, the small initiative you have initiated today, the 5 schools, I hope they will spread all over the country, because one of our most urgent needs is to bridge the gap between scientific know-how and field-level do-how, as we call it, the know-how, do-how gap. That can be more speedily done from learning from each other.